Okay. Okay.
You still with me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I had to take care of a little bit of business there. Greetings and welcome everyone to the 0 Hour Squared Live. We are finally live the way I wanted to do this. I'm Mike Trujillo. Welcome to the program. It's been a long, long time since I've done live visual stuff. Usually all my stuff's pre-taped or I do live radio. So in case you don't know, I used to do a show back in the day that we would, a public access show, did it for like that, since 92 till about 2012. And I'm trying to bring back that live feel. It was a lot of fun. We interviewed a ton of local bands of all genres, all that cool stuff. And we'd go on that show and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So trying to get that kind of vibe back in here and mostly just talk to the musicians, business owners of cool little small businesses, athletes, sports broadcasters, you name it. We're going to do our best to bring it here, and very, very happy to be back here on some sort of platform live doing this again. Usually I would start this, I would say on my show, greetings and welcome to the 0 Hour Square Show, coming at you live from Community Cable, Public Access Channel 27, and your rotten, filthy, sticky, sweaty, nasty, disgusting, rash-affected, crash-affected pie hole. I'm pretty good, still got that. Some stuff got cut out. But we would start that. So have fun. Join us in chat. I don't see any chat yet. This is all brand new to me. We're going to continue this on YouTube, and you're going to watch it kind of grow. We're starting from very, very basics. So bear with us through our growing pains, but have fun, comment. I'm going to be giving away some stuff. I got some tickets. And before I introduce my guest right now, who's patiently waiting there, I appreciate that, let me also let you know of a couple of things. So there are a couple events this weekend that are going on, and we're going to get to one of them, but I do want to mention, let's see, I just saw that. Thing is weird. I don't remember my dates here, so that's August 28th. Okay, here we go. So at the Chemo Theater on August 27th, which is tomorrow, Launchpad will have Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and that's at the Chemo Theater. I didn't expect that one there. I thought maybe Sunshine. That's actually really cool. So that's Big Bad Voodoo Daddy tomorrow night at Chemo Theater. And then there was another show, another event happening that I want to briefly bring up. That's also happening tomorrow, and that is the Differential Punk Market. And they got it, man. That punk market is dope. I did it the last time, and I sold some pretty good stuff. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people. There's people that sell jewelry, albums. I was next to this guy that had a bunch of records, man. It's called punk rock. Even old disco, all kinds of cool stuff. So they're going to have zines, tarot readings, I guess. There's art, of course. My friend Dom, you know Dom from Thrall and from Abscond. He takes art there occasionally, I believe. There's what else? So it's tomorrow night at Differential Punk Market, and that's from 7 to 11. And that, again, is tomorrow at 500 Yale Boulevard. Here's the other thing that's cool about Differential. They have a big-ass yard. So if you go over there, you talk to Kelly Kaler, get in touch with her, and she'll get you set up with a booth. You probably want to try to get a hold of her before that. Nick Tackett, also, I want to thank him. He's Kelly's boyfriend from Night Child, and he'll help you out as well. And then one more thing that I want to announce before we get to our guest that has an event going on the same day, but two totally different styles, which is cool. Last thing I want to wish Channing from Suspended happy birthday. They have a party, big bash going on this weekend, also Saturday night at Launchpad. 505 Goats, Suspended, Nocturne, Futilitarian, and Thrall. So that's Channing's happy birthday party. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then also Saturday, now, related to my guest, I'd like to introduce to you from Los Domingueros, Josue Urritia, correctly? Or El Dominguero? Uh,
You're good, brother. You tried to Josue Urrutia.
all
Um,
right.
I
Urrutia.
mean,
There you go. That's where I got it wrong.
I started putting Josue Dominguero because I thought that'd be like my nickname. Well, I mean,
Right?
since the band's like it's kind of like an extended singer songwriter thing. When I go to LA or like when the Agrolites see me or friends, a lot of the LA scene, they don't even call me Josue. They're just like, "Ahí viene el Dominguero. Here comes el Dominguero." But then I realized that's not an easy word either. So
Well, hey man, that's cool to me because it reminds me like Joey Ramone and Marky Ramone. You know what I mean? It's I like it. I thought, okay, maybe that's the style. I dig it. I can dig it. But hey, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate your patience. Yeah, you know the technical aspects of these things are ridiculous. You would think they're easy, but they're not always that easy. I kind of had to do a test, do another test, and then you do a million tests, and you do it the day of, and nothing happens. Crickets. You know, it's some bullshit. But thank you again for joining us today, and let's talk a little bit
thanks for
about what
having
you
me.
got. Yeah, yeah, no problem. So this is the Albuquerque Summer of Ska, number 8. I had to look up the goddamn Roman numerals. I hate them things, and I love football. But I always have to look it up. But number 8, this is at Unhinged Brewery. It starts at 4 p.m. and it is all ages, featuring Los Domingueros. If I butcher these bands here, I'm going to even move out of the way so people can see the flyer. You'll be able to hear me. I can project pretty good. Let's see, Los Domingueros, the Odd Advantage, Low Cash Ninjas, Swigfoot, La Chapuza, Bad Fix, Stop On, and Los Atascadados. Did I say that right?
Atascados.
Atascados.
And,
Okay.
and, and I'm gonna interrupt you real quick just to save you
Uh,
from saying La Cotorra Avionica, because
oh, that's right.
La Cotorra Avionica couldn't come because of all the bullshit going on with the Trump stuff right now. So they're from Ciudad Juarez. They've been replaced by a local band called Washpot.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you little folks take a look at that. You go to Facebook, my Facebook. You can go look to Los Domingueros Facebook as well, and you can look at the flyer if you want. If you forget the information, but that's happening this Saturday. Like I said, starts 4 p.m. And what's the cost? Is it how much to get in?
I believe the pre-sale's like 12 or 13 bucks. I was gonna
Okay.
cheat and look whenever you were like walking off, but I know that the door price is $15.
All right, cool, cool. So number 8, man, this is very cool. So you guys, let's first get into your band. Talk a little bit of history of you guys. You guys were founded in 2022, and like your bio, your EPK says you're bilingual. You call yourselves a bilingual ska punk band, and with members that are very diverse. And your sound is very diverse, but it is definitely ska. So, kind of give us a rundown of history about you guys and how you got together back in 2022, and what drove you. What's ska to you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, in 2021, actually, I got in a rollover, and I had spent like a good like 15 years outside of music because both of my parents were really sick, so they left. They lived like the last years of their lives in my house, and right after the pandemic, we all know what it did to everybody, right? And in my case, I was always a musician. I was a singer growing up, and it just, you know, uh, being a grown up and being responsible always kind of got in the way of that. So I got in a really bad rollover, and it made me fall into a really deep depression, kind of, question my life or whatever. And I said, screw it, like, no more excuses. I'm going to make me the priority, and I started my band. Originally, we tried to. Originally, I mean, I was doing everything and like learning everything at once. I'd been out of music for a long time. The game's changed in the last 20 years, and I was trying to like get my craft going, start a band, and it was kind of funny because at first it was kind of a group, and we tried to do like a mix of ska and Latin dance, and it was kind of funny because every time like we thought it was a blessing, but then you get hired for like an Ecuadorian wedding where the family is like American, like lighter skin, and you got a bunch of Ecuadorians. So we'd play like some ska, reggae, and they love it. And then all of a sudden we play some cumbias, and I have a deep conviction for my cumbias. They gotta sound good. They gotta sound legit. And so Ecuadorian people would love us, but the second the next song wasn't a cumbia, they wanted to kill us. So,
Ah.
yeah, so like so as the guys kind of like probably like 2022, 23, I cut the band in half. We had jumped up to like 9, and once it was like truly all mine, I just pushed for ska, and it was really cool because it's been kind of like challenging my distortions, which is what that means in therapy is like when you have a negative thought of yourself, something like something will tell you, hey, life proves you wrong, right? Like if I told myself, oh, I suck as a songwriter, I'm looking at artwork that has the agrolites and and Los Domingueros, right? So it was weird, man, because I didn't think 6 years ago or 5 years ago that we could have Latin ska in a place like Albuquerque. Albuquerque is not really a place that has historically really repped its Mexican or Latino roots. I didn't think it was gonna happen, and the more I went after my vision and my heart, the more it's kind of funny. Every time I've followed my dreams and followed, when I made the decision to just say, hey, you know what, forget breweries, forget just gigging, forget let's do this right. All of a sudden, like my life has been blessed with, the recordings, with, the tours. We toured with the Slackers. We were gonna do a big old long tour with Say Ferris this year, but I hurt myself. And yeah, man, it's just been kind of like me gradually getting deeper and deeper into my dreams.
All right.
As far as what ska means to me, I want to tell. I'm very not about like hypotheticals, right? And good intentions. I'm very about action and stuff. So I will always want to clarify, especially for all the horn people that think that ska has to have horns. Ska is literally the offbeat. It's literally that guitar sound. In fact, and it started in Jamaica in the 50s. And Jamaicans don't pronounce it ska. They pronounce it ska. Like, yeah, it's a ska band. Like the sound. Ska, ska, ska. And I think I answered all your questions, right? No?
No, continue going on. Actually, this history lesson on ska is very good because I'm not well versed in it. In the early 2000s, late 90s, when a lot of those bands were coming out, ska's been around for a long, long time. It's not like it just happened then. And
Yep.
it got really commercialized for a period of time and got big. If you recall, bands like State Ferris, those bands were huge. They were MTV favorites. They were
Sublime.
worldwide. Yes, Sublime. But it goes back further to dubstep and punk rock and reggae and all of that stuff kind of intertwined. And it's a unique and powerful type of genre. So kind of verse me a little bit more, or us, I guess, those who don't know about the origins, because I know you have a very you're intertwined deeply with that genre.
Absolutely. I've dedicated a large part of my life and my existence to the offbeat. So ska, what people call in the United States, like mainstream people, like mainstream thinkers, right, are gonna think of like the '90s ska punk that came out of Orange County, but ska
Right.
actually came out in the '50s, and ska is actually where reggae came from. So like a lot of purists with reggae call reggae music like ska music, because what happened is in the 50s, in Jamaica, they were hearing, from the southern United States, they were getting a bunch of radio, the signals, and they'd hear like, the Chubby Checkers and the old doo-wop and the old rock and roll, and they created kind of like an offbeat dance to it, a music, and that took Jamaica by storm. So like until about '66, it was the be all and end all. And the funny part is like Bob Marley and the Wailers, like the Wailing Wailers, um,
Right.
his a lot of his hits, like especially One Love, were ska before they were reggae. When they came out and became big in the '70s, they just re-recorded a bunch of their songs. So that evolved into something called rocksteady, and then into something called reggae, right? And then in the '70s, there was a second wave, and that's where you get a lot of like the big like Madness, the specials. Everybody knows the specials. Mirror in the
Yeah.
Bathroom, the English Beat. You got that in England, and that's where you get the black and white, like the checkerboard, because there was a lot of racism going on in the '70s, and so basically the black and white, they called it two-tone. So it's two-tone ska. That second wave was started in England, and that was really big about that racial unity. So those '90s bands that you're talking about, when they got big, it's not that they were like jumping on a trend. It's just these guys were all, they worship, the Jamaican and the English stuff, and they were just doing their thing. And the crazy part is that second wave punk, like what people call American punk rock and British punk rock, it actually is more. It was at the time they both grew up together, and that's when you started getting bands like the Clash. That's when we started getting like a lot of bands that would do reggae, like Bad Brains, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
those guys were just, hey, punk rock was blowing up, right, with your Green Days and your Bad Religions, and these guys were already building their own, like specifically the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, Voodoo Glow Skulls, but they were Fishbone, right? And then once you got that big '96 with No Doubt and Sublime, Real Big Fish, all that Orange County sound that kind of blew up. And a lot of people, like Americans, will say, "Oh, well, ska's like the '90s, it died." It didn't die. It's just what happened is it was like over. It was kind of like Vanilla Ice, bro. It was oversaturated. And so, I mean, shoot, America's Home Videos used to have like a ska song,
Right.
And
Right.
and so it kind of died. And when you look at it kind of in that Orange County, I'm not going to get political or racial, but it is, there is a divide between Los Angeles and Orange County is one of the most prosperous places in the United States, right? So a lot of those, I joke around and say that like when third wave ska died, white boy reggae was invented, because all these horn players needed something to do in Southern California, and that's when we started getting like your Revolution and stuff. But the ska scene since has really just kind of built its own underground following, and really a lot of people think that they weren't going through like a fourth wave or some kind of like popular thing, but the thing is, only in the United States did it die. For example, in Mexico and Latin America, from the 80s and on, it just blew up. I mean, Mexico is the center of the ska world these days, and they have festivals that are like, and I've been to a couple. I mean, I just saw Out of Control Army in Zócalo for New Year's, and that was a free show in front of 300,000 people. And so the cool part about ska is it's never lost its punk form. Like, it's always been in your face, racial unity, in your face, trans, like gender, no issues. The original ska girl that you see in these like little, like these emblematic like ska man and ska girl from the '60s, that the English Beat have on their cover, it was actually a trans woman. And I mean, that's back in the '60s. So the cool part about ska is it's always about equality, racial unity. There's been some drama lately with the reggae world, where they call out the reggae world because the reggae world's not calling out the bad political stuff that's keeping immigrants out of this country. I'm trying to not make this political, but it is a part of ska. All summer, last summer, and all summer, you go to ska shows and they condemn ICE, they condemn racism, they condemn colonialism, and it's a really fun show because it's the one place where you'll see like guys dressed up in suits like the Rude Boys from the '60s, or you'll see punk rockers, or you'll see guys getting geeky and nerdy from like that '90s style. It's a very small part of that punk gamut and reggae in the United States, but I think that gives it a lot of its strength. I could talk about ska all freaking day. So.
Well, I'm glad that you gave me a better. It's not that I was ignorant to it. I mean, I'm a punk. Here's how I learned this from my friend Short Dog. He's always saying I'm a punk kid that loves metal. Well, I'm a metal kid that loves punk, and my first introduction to punk shows were in '85. Going to actual shows and then getting into the music. So they all interconnected. Ska came in there, like you said. I was also used to, I grew up listening to Madness and the Specials. I was an early MTV child, so I listened to all of that. But I kind of lost course on it, and it's a subgenre, but it's metal's like that. There's so many subgenres of metal. Sometimes they go away, like glam. Like glam went away because grunge came in, market, and the whole music market changed, and it got rid of that. But now it's big as ever, and it's its own ship that rides into the night. But what I like about the connection more with ska is the punk connection because again I'm a huge Bad Brains guy. I loved all of that stuff. I love reggae. I really do love reggae, and not just Marley, but I like Peter Tosh, and I like that some of the even more intense
You like more
musicians.
roots reggae.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And,
It's
and
funny you
so
mentioned
I
Bad Brains. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
oh no
we just
no
we just played with HR, and I got an interesting story, but I'll tell you later. I'll tell you in a bit.
I went to the HR show here in Albuquerque. Is it
Hello?
here? Hey.
Yeah, it just went for a second. You can keep going.
Oh yeah, yeah. So where did you play with Bad Brains? At Launchpad or
No.
HR?
So
Not Bad Brains. HR, I mean.
yeah,
Human
yeah, yeah.
rights.
No,
Yeah.
you went to the one at Inside Out the day after we did our Slackers homecoming tour.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
we
Yeah,
did
that's
Ju-
right.
we were June 5th at Taos at the mothership.
Oh, cool. Oh, that place
Yeah,
is oh, that's a beautiful place. I love that place. Very
it's
cool.
stunning.
So again, your explanation, I dig to talk to somebody about that knows their shit, knows you know your stats, you know your game, you're not just some fly by night, and I can tell because of the music. Before we get into the style that you guys play or what you are as a band, tell us who else plays in the band.
Okay, so on lead guitar right now we have Alex Siete. He's a local reggae. He's also the lead guitarist for Baracutanga. On keys, our main key guy when he's available is Brian Highhill, aka Lumpy. I love that guy because not only is he good, but he basically has his own band. He moved here from Minneapolis, and I I honestly didn't think that in this modern age a ska album could win a New Mexico Music Award, but that's how I found out about him last year. Is he beat me and got he beat me. I didn't have any last year. I was just joking around, but I was so blessed for him proving me wrong, because that's how I found out about him, and it's great because he's by far the best ska keyboard player we've ever had, and he's already established. He already has all of his following and stuff. So, but he gigs around town like crazy. Then we have on bass we have Benny Russert. He's from New Jersey. He actually he moved in with me and our playing for Domingueros is a rent, and then we have. But it's pretty cool because he loves ska. On drums, right now we have Joey Saavedra. He has played in a lot of local bands, but he is currently our performing drummer until the end of fall, or sorry, until October. And then our main drummer, but current percussionist, he's the other member of the band, if you will, because it's only really like two members, me and Luis Miguel. His name's Luis Miguel Espino. He comes from Dallas. He is a super high level AV guy, and that's why I say performing. Joey's our performing drummer because basically from like March to November, he's gone. He's gone. They're flying him to Toronto to do sound for Becky G, or he's doing, AV for Kill Switch Engage in New York City or something like that. So when he
Oh,
gets
cool.
back, that's why when he gets back, like in November, we're gonna record our album when I don't have to fight with Garth Brooks or Conjunto Primavera for him.
That's awesome. You guys are like the Earth, Wind, and Fire of ska bands, man. Because it's like you said, like, or maybe even better, a better example, like the Steely Dan of ska bands. It's like the core, a couple of guys, and then everybody else is around, kind of hired guns. Is that kind of the way it works?
Yeah, for the most part, we our market is not, um, you know, in a larger market or where they have like a lot more scarcity, like in Los Angeles, right? There's a ready availability of the culture, and we don't have that here. So I found that the best way to work with what we have here is after the Slackers tour. We toured with the Slackers for 2 weeks. Um, I found out, or during, there were a lot of things that I wanted at a professional level, and it just was not happening. So some of the guys thought, some of the guys that I had before thought, they could strong arm me and just kind of do that like whole, hey, well, I'm here, you got no one else. And I'm not like that. Like, you're either doing it right or you're not. So I I fired them, flew 3 guys in, pros. We had an amazing tour, compliments everywhere we went, because I let these guys know, hey, we're a national band, guys. This isn't, a DIY on Friday where all of your best friends are going to applaud you whether you don't do good or not. And after that, brother, I found out that, like, it was just better for everybody for me to just, like, I'm not fighting with people for their gigs. I have, like, a main team, and then I can live out my vision. Because this whole time, the songs, I write the songs, it's my vision, the way we market ourselves, the way we go after ska. Not because it's so me-centric, but because it's kind of like what you said, is like, I'm a ska nerd, bro. Like, I know the scene now. Working for myself has been a blessing because, like, a lot of my idols are in my phone. And I'm not saying that to brag and be like, oh, woe is me, but, it's kind of like, I guess you could say I'm the one that's the most appropriate to be like the steward or guiding the whole machine,
Right. Hold one quick thought. You'll get to see the fire. I gotta turn this air down. It's killing me.
It's been hot lately, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that.
I was like, maybe I should tell people something like while you're.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in an awkward position, but that's the beauty about these things. I mean, it's not like we've got some big corporation saying, hey, you better stick your ass in there every second. But I just recently had nose surgery. I had a deviated septum. So this is the second time I've gone under anesthesia, and everything went good. It healed up quickly. I've been good. But, man, it takes weeks, almost months to get over effects of anesthesia. Dude, I don't know if you've ever had it, but I get cold. I'll be inside a building. It's 99 degrees out there, but if the AC is too high, I start shivering. I got to wear my hoodie the whole time, man. It sucks. And it was starting to, my air conditioner keeps cycling over and over and over. It's not that hot in this house, and I don't want to be shivering on this damn thing. But he's like, what the hell's wrong with that? Freely fentanyled out or what's going on? But
no, I get you, bro. I got my deviated septum surgery in 2019, and it went bad. So it ended up with me, my nose bursting, and then 2 weeks at home.
Damn.
We'll be the Bash Brothers, bro.
Shit, man, that's terrible. How long were you under for, if you don't mind me asking?
The actual deviated septum surgery was like, I know they did it when I was awake, and I want to say it was like an hour or two. But what happened is, like after the 3 or 4 days, it opened up. I was gonna do a business trip to Roswell, and I can't, like 5 in the morning, my nose was just dripping, and then the doctor was a really bad one that was later shut down. When he went to like try to fix it, he was just really rough with the stuff. So man, people out. But long story short, it burst. My niece was with me. Little 4-year-old niece crying her head off because her uncle's vomiting blood, and then they injected me with anesthesia, and then I woke up and they told me that they cauterized it, and then that they had to take about a bunch of blood out of my stomach, and I was off for like 2 weeks.
That sucks, man. That's horrible, man. Yeah, I've heard of.
And then I got a fungal infection, bro.
Damn. You know what, man? I thought that was bad enough, but that fungal infection, man, getting that's gotta suck. Oh, man. Yeah,
I mean, It gave me a stomach ache, and so like I had my one of my bucket list trips was to go to Machu Picchu all
Uh-huh.
my life, and so like I'm in Machu Picchu with like a terrible stomach ache, just trying to have a good. Like I'm like
Oh,
going like this, and then I'm looking at wow, I've been looking for this all my life, but it sucks.
oh, that's rough.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
well,
it was.
let's get back to the task at hand here, and that's talking to Jose Los Dominguero Urrutia.
Josue,
I get
Josue,
how Josue.
Josue.
Man, see, Chicano falso, man. I'm stupid like that with Spanish, man. I can't speak it
Nah,
good. I can't speak it fluently. Like
nah.
my parents talked to me in Spanish all the time, and I did talk to, but I would always talk back English with them, and they'd be like, no, and I'd be like, what? So long story short, but Josue Urrutia, I think I got it right now, from
Yeah,
Los Domingueros.
Josue's Joshua. There you go. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, that's right.
Don't kick yourself about it, brother. Like I speak Portuguese too, but I stopped telling people that because I'm always out of practice. That I'm like, I talk to people like a toddler, like oh, eu sou Josue, eu sou do Mexico. You know,
Oh
so
yeah.
if you're not if it's not practicing, don't worry about it, brother.
Speaking of Portuguese, real quick side story. You know, I had met Sepultura for the first time in 1989, and I was all excited, man. I was juiced. I was going to interview them, and I did. I talked to them, and I kept trying to roll my R's with them. Like I kept saying Sepultura, and they're like, "It's Sepultura." It was real soft, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy," because they were Portuguese. They weren't, they weren't speaking Spanish. They were speaking Portuguese, which in some ways is similar, but it's really not. I mean, there's no way I could have a fluent conversation with them speaking my Spanish the limited one. But even if I spoke it well, it was difficult. But that taught me a valuable lesson, not to always think that even a dialect is a sister dialect to another one. It doesn't always mean they're the same. You know.
It's not I mean, Spanish and Portuguese are two completely different languages, but they come from Romance, so it's kind of like the relationship between like French and Italian.
Right.
They're very similar. In fact, they have. I took I had a buddy who was a language major. There's a course called Portuguese for Spanish speakers. Like I'll tell you that once I learned the basic mechanics for the most part, it was a lot easier. The one thing I do want to pick on is when you said like sepultura, like one thing that especially in New Mexico they do. I pick on Felix Peralta about that stuff too. Is people in New Mexico and well, no. I shouldn't say that. A lot of people think that Spanish is harder than it is, and what I mean by that is they feel they have to roll every R, and you really don't. You only roll the R's like on Urrutia. You only roll the R's when you have two R's together. So
All right.
you do a better job than you think, bro.
My Spanish lesson for today, or my English as well, man. I'm the only language I know is just rambling on like we're doing now. But this is awesome. I want to get back to the show. Tell us
Okay.
about the show. How you put it together. Eighth one. Is this you're doing for this particular fest every year, or are you part of a collective? Tell us about the whole thing and tell us about that show Saturday night.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited. I really like the Summer Sky. It wasn't my idea. Summer Ska started in 2014. I was not playing ska at the time. It was started in Vegas. It's from Good Girlfriend Records. Good Girlfriend Records. Their drummer is the sound guy for the MGM Grand out in Vegas, and so this has been a labor of love for him. One of my one of the things I really really love about ska or the summer is that it's a really 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 good uh, a representation of ska in the United States right now because like a lot of people think like I said ska's third wave 96 right um, I used to joke around and say it's a bunch of white guys with trumpets or whatever right and I don't say that to be racial or racist. I don't want people to think that. I say that to lead into this is because the ska in the United States is completely different than it's ever been. I mean, our representation is bands like Catbite was just here. You've got trans people, American people, black people, Mexican people, Puerto Ricans, just all kinds of We Are the Union, openly trans. the ska world these days and the leaders are completely diverse, and it's so beautiful. And what I like about what I was saying is like they usually these ska festivals, like there was just one in Orange County, and it was mostly Orange County rich lighter skinned kids, right? That demographic. Because when you go to Los Angeles, it's they don't even call it ska punk, they call it ska core, like voodoo. It's voodoo Gulf Skulls influence. It's all Chicano and Mexican kids. 10,000 kids in a warehouse shows. It's massive. It just and so what Good Girlfriend did with this is they picked the best of both worlds. So we've got Washpot, who is Joey. He's proudly native like myself. He's from Acoma. You there? It just got quiet on mine. You just froze, and I can't. I'm moving. I guess I'll just wait around. There. Say something.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Like Washpot is from New Mexico. They're from Albuquerque. I really like the fact that we threw them on because a month ago some of the members were like saying we're not ska, and I was joking around with them and I told them, dude, you got to be a man to rep ska. Cause hey man, a lot of times when you got that mainstream thing thinking you still think it's 2005 where ska is geeky, you know. And then you've got bands like we were gonna have Cotorra Bionica from Juarez. You have Los Domingueros. Los Domingueros, my style, was super eclectic, and so, but I am first and foremost a songwriter. So everything that I do with Domingueros is gonna rep ska. I mean, we're gonna be playing a lot of heavy and a lot of new stuff. So a lot of ska metal, a lot of ska core, a lot of drop D breakdowns, a lot of pinch harmonics with the squeals, bro. And a lot of people don't expect that. A lot of people expect it to be like, hey, everybody, like some kind of geeky thing. Then you have La Chapuza, which they're like kind of like our little brother, or I'll say big brother band, because we've been bringing them here to Albuquerque for the last 3 years. We brought them about 7 times. They're borderland ska, super hardcore, but the funny part is they're very refined musicians. So one moment they'll play cumbia, one moment they'll play jazz, like very avant-garde jazz. I know last time they did a show here at the Launchpad, and it was a lot more punk rock. But then you have Los Atascados. Atascados is from Vegas. We did a tour with them last year. We did 4 dates. Super fun. Stereotypical like ska punk, but it's my boy Chucky. I tell him this. He's got the balls that I wish I had, dude, because he's a big boy. He is a round boy. Big boy. And he comes out on stage, pulls off his shorts, and shows us all of his glory, or takes off his shirt, and he's just in his underwear. And I'm like, I've got my man cans, bro. Like, I'm a little self-conscious, and then my homeboy goes up there and kicks some butt. So yeah, and that's Atascados is Latin ska. Trying to look at the list here. That's El Paso. It's a whole tour. I wanted to explain.
I'll move out of the way. Look at the flyer again there. I'm out of the way. So, and again, you could go to Facebook and look up Los Domingueros. You can go to my Facebook page, which is just Mike Trujillo, and that'll have that flyer there as well. And it's at it's at Unhinged Brewery. Unhinged, where is that at?
It's over on 98th Street. There we go. I got it. I got it right here. Sorry. Odd Advantage from Southern California. They're really, really gritty, like Chicano ska. You got Low Cash Ninjas. There's another New Mexico representation. They're from the Navajo Nation. They play kind of like they call it like crack rock steady. It's kind of like I don't know if you ever heard of Choking Victim or Leftover Crack. They play kind of that kind of style.
Cool.
Swigfoot is that, like, if you are not into ska and you think ska is still, that like 1996 Real Big Fish sound, Swigfoot, you're going to love them. Super poppy. Tyler, I'm only going to quote this. This is not shit talk. I'm quoting the singer. Last year, I opened Summer of Ska Solo, And Tyler gave me one of the greatest compliments I've ever heard, but it was the funniest shit on earth too, because he tells me, Josue, you have such a manly voice. Oh my God, I wish I sang with that testosterone. He told me, I sound like a Mormon missionary. And I passed out. I passed out laughing with that. Like, you got Bad Fix, who is also from the Navajo Nation. Stock
Uh-huh.
on Green from Vegas, and then of course, Dominguero. So it's a really good festival. And what happened is last year, like I've been working hard to bring ska to New Mexico. For the longest time, it's just been kind of like an afterthought, or like, the local venues will try to pull a couple bands out of retirement, or it's going to be one of the many iterations of back in the day Giant Steps. I think right now Otto's got that band Rocksteady Pickups, but we've never really had a serious band since, I want to say, the Big Spank. All respect to
Okay.
those
Yeah.
guys, and those guys pretty much broke up when we started. We actually played Javier's wedding, and that's the one
Oh.
time that was the one time I was able to play with Big Spank. They played 15 minutes right after us. And it
Yeah.
was, and even at that, like the Big Spank, they had the thing they did, but I don't think anybody has ever really successfully been able to like balance the English and the Spanish side, because when you
Okay.
hear, because the system Domingueros has is I just naturally write in Spanish or whatever the hell I feel, right? So the system with Domingueros is every other song is in a different language, right? One song's in English, one song's in Spanish. Um, and so for the longest time, I was trying to bring this and struggling and get my butt kicked, right? And last year was the year that the first time that we went on tour for like I think we ended up doing like 10 weeks last year, throughout the year. And we brought Good Girlfriend, or we brought Atascados and Chapuza. We brought them for our homecoming from the tour, and Tommy saw what we did. He saw El Paso. He thought, wow, these were supposed to be these little podunk, you know, uh, podunk little desert towns, right, or flyover cities or whatever. And then he sees that, and then he sees that I also like in what I do. We've kind of Domingueros has kind of always been kind of independent. We haven't really moved in the scene. It has a lot to do with gatekeeping, and with gatekeeping by one of the main booker at the main, not the main, but the right hand of the owner of our main booking company in town. And so I've never been one of these guys to be held back by stuff. So with Domingueros, I was like, yeah, whatever. We've been building our own scene and our own festivals for a while. And so when he saw what we had out here, he told me, you know what? I made a joke at Summer of Ska last year because I went to Vegas and I went to Mesa. And it was kind of funny because on a whim he tells me this band didn't show up. If you can get a guitar, you can open the festival. And of course, I'm looking for a guitar, right? And I made a joke and I told him, why struggle in LA where there's so much competition when you could just come to, just bring it to Albuquerque and El Paso. And sure enough, in February, he calls me up. He asked me, I get him the venue. And I was super happy because out of all the 6 dates on Summer Ska, Albuquerque is the second biggest, only to the main event. The main event is going to be on September 5th, which we're going to play right in the middle of it. And that one has 17 bands.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that it's not Phoenix, it's not Tucson, it's not Flagstaff, it's not El Paso, Albuquerque. Besides the main event is the one that's going to have. I mean, we have 9 bands on ours.
Nice, nice. All right, so what else can we expect? What else are you guys going to have there? Since it's more of a festival than it is just a concert, because so many bands and everything. What else? What else will you have there?
Well, for Summer Ska, there's going to be, for this one, we're doing it at a brewery. There, it is all ages, so it's separated. So there's separated, like if you're going to drink, eat. There's going to be food. There's going to be alcohol. I know Tommy, each of the different bands are going to have their own little things. Domingueros is going to have its own table. I made special limited edition stickers that I'm giving away, and they're nicer than the ones we sell, and I made them specifically for that. I could tell you guys about an after party and a breakfast, but that's limited to the bands and the staff. So
Very cool. So what I wanted to ask about that is the younger audiences. Though, how young are you seeing the audiences responding to ska? Because I mean, they're all over. I mean, I see young kids at the punk shows. Ska, same thing. You know, at the ska shows that I've seen, there have been a lot of kids. They're responding to it really well. What do you think of the younger generations and how they respond to ska and what you guys do?
I love it. I love them, and I love it. I had this early on. I had to resort to like not depending on like Marble and Launchpad and like the typical avenues. And so for a while when we started, we were like a big Latin dance band and we were making a lot of money, right? Then when we went to ska, we weren't making money. And the funny part is, for a while we stayed away from DIYs because we were always like, you know, hey man, we've already, we're recording with the Agrolites, we're doing this, we're doing that. Like, not to not be humble, but I don't believe in taking a step back, right? I believe that you always should be moving forward. But one time we did this, our homies from El Paso, Saving Bandit wanted to come up and talk to my homies in November Radio and a couple other bands. We did a show last year at a DIY at the one in front of Copper Lounge. I don't know if it's still there, the Crib. And it was funny because I get home and my wife asked me, how was the gig? And I said, the sound was terrible. The room was hot as heck. We were sweating so much. The lights were terrible. We were sweating so much. I had to look like a beginner, and like I kept sliding from so much sweat. I had to like look at my fretboard the whole time. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, don't be sorry. This is one of the greatest gigs we ever had. Like what I'm saying is, I don't say that to talk shit. I'm saying like those kids brought so much energy. Like all of us were drenched in sweat. We all needed to change and shower right after the gig. But all of us were just so happy. And it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because we did at All Ages 2 weeks ago. We brought some LA bands at Blackwall, and it was the same, man. Like our people, I don't deserve this love from these kids, bro. Because I think, I'm 42. You know how it is. I find myself being like these Gen Zs or whatever sometimes. Every now and then I have to slap myself to not be, grumpy old man Josue. And bro,
Right.
like the young kids love us. I mean, I've had events at breweries and stuff with Domingueros or where I bring other ska bands. And I had, like, the Sunday before, I had, like, 5 underages just, they weren't allowed in the tap room at Old Town. They all just hung out on the sidewalk. And I told these guys, I was like, I walked out after, I was like, you know what? You guys waited for me, waited for us. Like, you're not paying Friday, So I'm very grateful. I know I took a little bit too long to answer that question, but I'm super grateful because the younger generations are absolutely loving ska. There are artists like Jer, and We Are the Union, like these openly trans, or, the faces, like I said, now, Bad Operations, you see an African American, so many, it's very welcoming, and they fit very perfect in that, man. And another thing is, bro, like, the skanking pits are not, nobody's beating each other up. It felt really good when a big metal dude, well, it didn't feel good that he kind of cowardly smashed into a little girl, but I had to stop and say, hey man, no crowd killing in this. And everybody was like, he didn't backbite, everybody kind of got it, and it's just a very safe environment for everybody,
Yeah, that's rad. My first ska show was Operation IV.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody. I was just talking to somebody the other night at the Hatebreed show down at the El Rey, and I don't know how they came up. I think we were talking about Rancid, and we were talking about the guys from Rancid, how a couple of those guys from Operation IV were the formed Rancid. Yeah, I saw them in the garage, and damn, I can't remember the guy's pad that we saw it at. But I recall that's the first time I saw skanking. And that, you keep in mind, that was my new world into punk rock and that scene as well, because I was just going to parties and I was a hesher, a metalhead, going to all these punk skin shows and ska and everything infused, and I never had any trouble. I'd see fights. I know there was fights, and there was issues with other skinheads and metalheads and, other skins against other skins, all that shit. But I remember that show being crazy in a garage, and I think the cops came, and it was like No Effects was another show I saw that I know they're not ska, but they kind of have that element. Sometimes they do play it,
They play a lot. They play a lot of ska because and then a lot of their bigger songs are ska, and Jefe would switch to the trumpet. So
yeah. How did you get started? How old were you when you started playing any instrument, and what was it?
I was 14, and it was my brother's crappy Ovation nylon string guitar.
Ovations, I remember those.
And no, it wasn't Ovation. It was Harmony. It was a Harmony.
Oh, okay.
I put a Captain Underpants sticker on it. I remember. And I was my first, like my uncle. In '96 he was working construction, and a whole mobile home crushed his hand. So this guy was so dedicated that he melted, when it was healing, he melted plastic over it to where he could put a pick in there. And yeah. We went to church, and I hated church, but like he told me, if you go to church, I'll teach you a couple things. And he taught me the A chord, bro. And I was like putting on Metallica and putting on Oasis, whatever like I had in my CDs, and I was just playing along A to every song. And I thought, hey, look, I don't look like a jackass,
Right. That's crazy, man. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys, so there's so many questions that I had, and we've covered quite a few of them. What do you have as far as albums, and how do we get a hold of them?
Absolutely, all of our stuff is online from the beginning. All the major streaming services. From the beginning, my attitude's been about just finding them online, about giving them music away. Don't get me wrong, you can buy hard copies of our CDs from us, but everything's online. We've got we had a few singles, and then we came out with like an EP that's very melodic, very, we've got our first video was actually bachata. And then our second big project was our album that dropped last year. And that one you have Cali Reggae, you have Rocksteady, we have that song, it's right here. So great. We have the song with the Agrolites.
Oh, cool.
Jess and Raj, and we've got, Manny Metales on there. We've got some of the dudes from Fishbone. This was produced by Lewis Richards, the same guy behind Sublime with Rome and Revolution, and basically. And then, so what we did with that is I dropped the album first, and then to revive my singles, right? Because you can't do what you used to do where you release an album and then support it with like the same single, because people are like, well, I already heard that song. Is what I've done for this year, and we're about to finish, we got 2 more singles, is I grabbed all of our singles, and instead of making them the same, like releasing it as the same song, I've released them as different mixes and as collaborations. So today, for example, we just dropped one with an artist, with Lumpy. But I mean, we've had guys like, the Agrolites. We have one next month with Catbite. We have one with Emily Davis and the Murder Police from El Paso. Just a lot of ranges of artists, anywhere from, the Irie bands that are at national levels. They just played a sold out Red Rocks, a couple years ago. Bands like legendary, like you got up here with the Agrolites, all the way to, Lumpy, certain collabs locally. We have Bellowing Bear worked on our album as well. And yeah, you can get all that stuff online.
I really love your connection with the Agrolites. I have seen them before, and I have a nice, cool little flexi of them. We, Roman Barham and I had a little record store for a little period of time, and somebody gave us a bunch,
next to the theater,
bunch of flexis.
Coffee.
Yeah, Rise Music Coffee.
One day I walked in back in like 2019, I want to say, and you and I talked about Anthrax, and you gave me your coffee. You didn't even charge me for the coffee, I remember.
That coffee was horrible, man. I didn't want to charge anybody for that. But that was a fun little place. But the Agrolites, you mentioned Fishbone, big, huge Fishbone fan, man. I haven't seen them in a while. I see them in the 90s. They used to come here quite frequently. The last time I saw the singer Angelo, though, he was singing for a tribute band for David Bowie, and it was with like these hardcore guys like Todd Rundgren and the singer from Space Hog and all kinds, like an all-star group. It was so bomb, man. It was really, really cool. But so you get, again, your socials, how to get a hold of your stuff.
Oh, so yeah, our socials, you could go on Instagram, Los Domingueros Band. On Facebook, we're Los Domingueros Band ABQ. On TikTok, just look up like Los Domingueros de Josue Urritia. I always forget that one. Because by the time I did our TikTok, I realized I should let people know that, like, this is me. So it's kind of like a double one. We're on
Right.
YouTube, and we also have we have our website as well. And it's funny that you mentioned Angelo. We played with him last year in Santa Fe, Fishbone. But his trombone player, Scabo and Stan, is on that same song with Jesse and Raj.
Oh, sick. Very cool. So I wanted to ask you about the name because I kind of wanted to make sure that I knew what it meant. And I looked it up, and it's a person who treats Sunday as a major day trip holiday. Sundays are the best, dude. They're the best. I mean, I consider myself a Dominguero in the way football. You're not going to catch me doing anything on Sundays once football starts. But I like the name, man. So what does that kind of name mean to you, or does it just is it just a name?
Brother, I think you are the first person that has just, like, knocked that meaning out of the park. Like, you got it right in the head. There's like explanations I give people. The practical one is that, like, it kind of goes on with what you said, the guys who live for Sunday, right? When we started the band, our original drummer, it's kind of funny. I just went to El Dorado Bakery. His family owns that. So I only had Sundays off. Our bass player at the time was a worship leader, so Sunday's like his most important day. And then Javi, the drummer, I worship menudo, bro. I mean, fuck, I got menudo on one of our logos has a menudo bowl on it, right? And so menudo is very Chihuahua,
Nice.
Ciudad Juarez. And so Javi works, his family owns El Dorado Bakery, right? When do Mexicans eat menudo for the most part? On the weekends, but mostly on Sunday, right? It's your hangover meal. And so
Right.
it just
The hangover,
makes
man.
sense. Yeah, because we were playing parties with, like, we would juggle names like Island Vibes with Josue or Fiesta Mexicana Party or whatever, when we were just joking around. But the main where we pulled that Domingueros from is we used to play this cover that was about, it was from El Caribe Funk, which is from Colombia. We all know Latino culture, we all know that there's a lot of, like, that juicy cheese man and gossip and busybodies. So there's a song about this lady who's so nosy, she sneaks in on a couple doing what couples do on Sundays, right? And so I tell my friends, it's kind of like when you and your lady are going to have a nooner, hey, me and my lady are going to have a Dominguero, And so that's kind of
There you go.
where it, but that one's not for the kids, so that one was, like, blocked out, right?
Right. That's awesome. So, all right, you mentioned El Dorado for Menudo. Where is that at? I think I've been there. Is that they on Broadway? Is
That one's my favorite one. Yes, Broadway and Gibson. That's
Yeah.
my favorite one. Don't tell Javi.
Yeah, they got. Man, their menudo is bomb. They also have the good bread that goes with it. Man, I tamales. I buy tamales when I get a fix and nobody makes them for me. I'll just go get them there. They're really good. But where else would you recommend menudo? And man, dude, you're talking my. I love menudo. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know it's one of those things you either love it or don't. But I love it, and I miss my mom making it because she made it great. She's from Texas. She's Texan, so she knows how to make it really good.
Dude, you're hitting all, like, I was going to joke around and say, if you're trying to get my pants is working, because you're hitting all, like, the things I love, right? Because, like, my mom, people used to ask me about Mexican food. Like, I grew up, like, dude, I'm like the typical Mexican boy in that dude, super mama's boy. I mean, my whole album's dedicated to my mother. But it's kind of funny because people used to ask me, what kind of Mexican food, or where do you recommend for Mexican food in Albuquerque? And I'd be like, dude, my mom was one of those moms that guys' moms would go to learn from her to how to cook. And so that was the first one. But here in town, I'm going to tell you El Dorado on Broadway is my favorite. I don't know if Taco Mex still does it, but Taco Mex has some solid menudo. It's just a little fatty.
Right.
Dude, El Mezquite is always solid. You know, it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's really, really good. Sometimes it's just really, really acceptable. But El Mezquite is pretty good. And then
Is that over the website?
the Mezquite are those Mexican markets all over town. So there's the big one on San Pedro and
Oh,
Central.
okay.
There's the one on 4th Street between like Grego's and Montana. There's the one on 98th. They're building one. Oh, you remember Stadium Liquors? Like Stadium, that little grocery store? They're about to, they bought that building.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I think
Yeah, that's right.
One in Rio Rancho. That's my favorite menudo in town, but Bandido just started doing a menudo buffet for like $13, dude. And it has cake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that one.
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I've been going to that one, but no, like El Dorado, when you said pan dulce, dude, that's exactly what I do. I go over there and I get myself a on. I mean, bro, like I'm not skinny, you know. And
yeah, well, neither am I. So. Right,
I'll get my pan dulce while I'm waiting, and then I'll save that bread, bro, and then later use it to make sandwiches or something. Just so good.
Nice. Well, real quickly, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on, man. I know we talked about this kind of couple of weeks, got it hooked up, got it going. Lots of fun. We'll catch up again soon. After, when you got some more stuff, just hit me up, man. I'll get you on any time, man. I really did enjoy the conversation. I appreciate what you do. And Los Domingueros, I think I love the way you handle everything very, very professionally. You sent me very good material to work on and to kind of do my homework with you, so that helped. But you guys make some very, very cool music, and I wish you much success going ahead in the future. I wish you success on Saturday. I'll do my best to try to get down there. But thanks again. So real quickly, you've been watching 0 Hour Squared Live. Before I sign off and let Josue go, I do have some stuff I want to give away. But so I was at the flea market, the punk rock flea market a couple of weeks ago, and I had a bunch of these. I only have a couple now, and I didn't sell any of these. This is an overkill. Yeah, it's an overkill backstage pass. They gave me a bunch, and I'm not trying to just get rid of them, but they're really cool, kind of, what do you call it, collectors. It was for the WFO tour, wide fucking open.
I think
so I'll give that.
I've been alive, dude.
They have been, yeah. They started about 83, 84, maybe even 82 out in New Jersey, and they're still, still kicking it, man. And so here's a Pantera shirt. I don't know if you can see that. I'll give this away. Oh, that was selling it. Did it look weird?
The green screen, but...
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I've got that stuff, so let me think of something here. I'll give away a pair of Twin Temple tickets as well. They're going to be playing at Launchpad, or Sunshine Theater. It's courtesy of the Sunshine Theater, September 9th, 2026. So you'll get that cool, unique package. I didn't see any comments rolling on, so I'm not sure if I messed up at the app in terms of not allowing it, but this will be played back on my Facebook, on the YouTube channel. I'll keep on reposting it. I hope that you do as well, Josue. And that way we could get some viewers on this, because this is a great interview, lots of great insight on a very cool local band doing very cool local things and representing New Mexico ska scene all across the region and the country, the world, for lack of a better term. So once again, we've been joined by Josue Urritia or Jose Dominguero from Los Domingueros in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dodger fan too, right? Because I see the gear that you had. I love that, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where I don't want to mess this up. I got like all my little, like, my replica stadium and stuff. My my uncle says that my dad used to sneak me into games in his backpack, but my uncle was a liar. But yeah, no, we grew up with Mania in my house, brother.
Hell yeah, man! That was the guy that I grew up. I mean, that's still to this day. Out of all, right now it's a close second. Is Fernando's first, but Ohtani's second. But you gotta love the Ohtani, and I'm expecting a three-peat. We've had some rough patches after the All-Star game, but it's all good and they'll be fine. But Thank you again, Josue. I appreciate it. Is there anything I didn't ask you'd like to tell the viewers? Yeah, no problem. Anything else you'd like to tell the viewers about the band that I didn't ask?
Man, I think I do have some bittersweet sweet news that I am going to let people know. So Domingueros, I have had some really bad health issues that I need to tend to. Last year I got a really bad injury that actually damaged my diaphragm. So, like, today was terrible breathing in the high altitude and all the junk. So we got confirmed only 2 more Albuquerque shows because I'm moving the band to San Diego in the spring.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. So come
Well,
Saturday,
man, that's
what's
yeah.
up?
Better get down there. You better get down there and catch as many Albuquerque shows as possible.
There's only 2. I want to do a going away, but right now I'm kind of like, I have this surgery called an allograft that I gotta kind of like wait for, and it's gonna get me down for 6 weeks. So we have Saturday, and then Sunday, October 18th, we have Scalloween, and that's pretty much your last Albuquerque shows indefinitely for at least 4 or 5 months, 6 months maybe.
All right. Well, good luck with the procedure, and good luck moving out to San Diego. Don't call yourself a San Diego band. Call yourself Albuquerque first. And, man, we appreciate everything.
We don't call ourselves an Albuquerque band, though.
What do you call yourselves?
We're based in Albuquerque. We're based in Albuquerque.
Okay.
I say Ciudad Juarez sounds in Tiwa lands.
Okay, that's fair. Fair enough. So you're just you encompass the Southwest, and that includes from the desert right down to the beach, man. We appreciate it, and I thank you again. Thank you for that information and much continued success. And again, good luck on all that. That's a pretty big endeavor, and you know, home is still here. Whenever you want to come back, this is it. So come back and eat menudo with us.
I only wanted to clarify one little thing because I don't want people to think that it's a diss towards Albuquerque. I say that the band is named like that because our sound is always come from, you know, Urritia radio station. All of my influences come from what I grew up with in Juarez. And so it's a way to honor both where I was born and where I'm from and the city that has given me love for most of my adult life. That way I can incorporate the border and Tiwa. So I just wanted to clarify that to let people know it's not at all a diss. I've lived in this house for 20 years, So I did want to clarify that there's no hate at all to New Mexico or the 505. When I say that, it's just I'm a border boy, and I'm never gonna deny where I was born or where I'm from,
I hear you. All right. Well, thank you once again. And like I said, when you come back, and and that's so far down the road we won't even think about it. But come back, play. We'll have some menudo, man, here at El Dorado or somewhere good. All right.
Guys, if the next podcast is not eating menudo, he's gonna owe everybody something. I don't know what, but you guys.
There we go. I'll get the whole setup, bowls, bread, everything, man.
Thank you so much. It's been
All right, Josue.
an honor, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Well, you have all been watching the 0 Hour Squared live. So again, if you missed it here, I'll make sure you watch it one way or another, and especially definitely before Saturday to prep you up for the big festival that's happening over at Unhinged Brewery. And that's the event that's right behind me. Also keep an eye out for the flyers, all that good stuff. Josue, thank you very much. Thank you all who have been tuning in. This has been the 0 Hour Squared live.
Bye-bye.
Take care.